pretend to be ignorant of something and they're not.
How so?
Well, when people like for example with this, like there are some people like, oh, we can use this to create some dislike against Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever. It's generally politicians do it, right? When they say something and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was offensive or wrong. It's like, yes, you did, but you know your followers didn't. You see what I mean? Like you can.
Give me an example.
I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, well, with the mass shootings, right? So the whole thing of saying that Trump's tweets had nothing to do with it. Yes, they did. Yes, now they didn't directly, but yeah, it did normalize. And this guy used the same language of the invasion, et cetera. So you can't say that it's completely unrelated. You know what I mean? You can't. And again, it's not saying direct, but you can't pretend there's no connection.
Right. There's a direct connection because it's quotes.
There are people who are intelligent enough to know that, but they'll say no, there's no. And it's like, yes, there is, and there is. Don't feign ignorance. That's what I mean.
Right. Well, the guy in Dayton, the really fucked up one was that guy's an Elizabeth Warren supporter who actually wrote about gun control. I mean, he was just a horrific homicidal fucking psychopath. And
listen, you have to have some. There has to be something wrong with you to do that. You're like regardless of your political beliefs, there has to be something wrong with you. But you can be sparked or you can be egged on.
Sure. Yeah.
By the words of leaders or political people or powerful people. And
people of influence.
Perfect way to put it. Yeah, people of influence. And that's why I think people of influence have to be responsible in what they say.
Yeah.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is a different thing. I think this is just a case of a scientist pointing out information without, you were talking about earlier, dorks, nerds, whatever you want to say, where it's like, yeah, well, this is just information. I'm not trying to be emotional. And people are like, well, you have to be. Right, you have to connect. Even though you're from a lab environment, you have to understand not everyone is.
But that's one of the more uncomfortable things about today with social media is that there's a bunch of people that are really they're just authoritarian. They demand certain types of behavior, and they do so under the guise of compassion. They do so under they're trying to enforce the way people communicate, like the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing. There's no indication whatsoever that he was minimizing the deaths, but people are pretending that he's doing so.